I had always been fascinated by the unknown. Humanity had only just begun exploring the outer reaches of the Andromeda sector when I was assigned to survey Mission Theta 11, a diplomatic mission to the planet Virilia, known for its advanced, humanoid-like civilization. The planet was ruled by a queen whose intelligence and beauty were legendary across several star systems. Rumors whispered of her daughter, the princess, who had grown to be as cunning as her mother. No human had ever spent significant time among them without being regarded with suspicion, or worse, without vanishing entirely. Our first contact with Virilia was under tense circumstances. My ship's sensors picked up unusual energy fluctuations in the planet's orbit, prompting an immediate investigation. I was separated from my crew due to a navigational anomaly caused by the planet's magnetic storms. Alone, I touched down on a field of luminescent crystals that covered the Virilian plains. The sky was tinted with hues of purple and emerald, and the twin moons cast shifting shadows across the alien landscape. It was there that I first saw the palace, a spiraling fortress of organic metal and translucent crystal. It rose like a beacon in the center of a valley. I approached cautiously. Virilians were tall, elegant beings, their skin shimmering with subtle iridescence, eyes wide and expressive, and voices melodic in ways human ears could barely grasp. One of them, a guard, looked at me, then simply stepped aside. Inside, I met Queen Aerith, the ruler of Virilia. She was breathtaking, a combination of grace, intellect, and authority that made every human tale about alien royalty seem inadequate. She welcomed me politely, though her eyes betrayed a wariness that spoke of the countless threats she had faced, both internal and external. "You are human," she said, her voice both commanding and curious. "And yet you wander freely in my palace. Why?" "I come as a representative of Earth," I replied carefully. "I seek to understand your people, your culture, and perhaps build a bridge between our worlds." Her gaze was sharp, almost probing. "Curiosity and diplomacy are not the same, human. Be mindful what you claim." Before I could respond, a soft voice interrupted us. "Father? No, wait, he's not." I turned and saw her. Princess Lyra, Queen Aerith's daughter. She was unlike anyone I had seen, smaller than her mother, yet radiating an energy that was difficult to ignore. Her eyes were the color of liquid topaz, and they seemed to look straight into my soul. And then it happened. She walked toward me with a boldness that startled me, and with a voice both tender and resolute, said, "Husband." I froze. My mind blinked. My lips parted, but no words came. Queen Aerith, who had been studying me with quiet suspicion, suddenly let out a scream so sharp it echoed through the crystal hall. "Why is my daughter calling you husband?" The palace seemed to shudder at her words. I blinked, unsure if I had misheard. Lyra's gaze met mine again, steady and unyielding, as if daring me to respond. It's not what it sounds like," I stammered. "It sounds exactly like what it is," the queen thundered. Her voice shook the room, making the air hum. "Explain yourself, human. How have you convinced my daughter to address you as husband?" I tried to calm her. "Your Majesty, I have no intention of—" "Silence," she barked. "I will not have my family subjected to human manipulation or deceit. My daughter is not for you, or any human. Do you hear me?" Lyra, however, did not back down. Instead, she stepped closer, her hand brushing against mine, a gesture both intimate and defiant. "Mother," she said softly, "he is not like other humans. I know him. I trust him. He has seen me, truly seen me, in ways you never have." Queen Aerith's eyes narrowed. "Trust? You barely know him, girl. He is a visitor from a primitive species. Do you understand the implications of this? Do you understand the customs, the obligations? I understand enough, Lyra replied. Her voice was firm. He has shown me kindness, respect, and courage. That is worth more than 1,000 rituals. The Queen's expression hardened. Enough talk. If this is to be addressed, it will be done properly. Human, you will remain under my observation until I determine whether you are worthy of my daughter's hand, if indeed this is what she desires. I realized then that my journey on Virilia had shifted from exploration to survival in a court of alien politics, and that the stakes were not merely personal, but interstellar. Over the following weeks, I remained in the palace under careful supervision. Queen Aerith tested me in every conceivable way: strategic games, philosophical debates, physical challenges, and rituals of the Virilian court designed to measure loyalty, intelligence, and integrity. Each day I learned more about their society, its complex hierarchies, the balance of power, the ways in which honor was valued above life itself. And each day, Lyra found ways to communicate with me, quietly, privately, in the hidden corridors of the palace. It was during one of these clandestine meetings that she finally explained herself. I called you husband, she admitted, because in Virilia, the bond of trust and devotion is signaled early when the heart knows. It is not a joke nor a whim. It is acknowledgement, a promise. I recognize that in you. I swallowed hard, my mind spinning. Lyra, I care for you deeply, but I am a human. I cannot fully grasp your customs, nor should I presume to take what is not freely given. Her smile was gentle but insistent. It is freely given. That is why I called you husband, and it is why I will continue to call you so if you allow it. I wanted to speak, to protest, to explain the vast differences between our worlds. But as I looked into her eyes, I realized that some connections transcend culture, species, even logic. Somehow I understood her. Somehow I felt the same pull. Queen Aerith, however, remained a formidable obstacle. She had summoned me to the throne room once more. The hall was immense, filled with advisors, guards, and scholars. The tension was palpable. You persist in this nonsense, the Queen said. Her voice was calm but lethal, the kind that made the air feel heavy. Your daughter calls you husband. Do you claim it is true? I respect her choice, I said carefully. And I care for her. Care is not enough, Aerith snapped. In Virilia, bonds must be tested. Bonds must endure trials. If you are to be her husband, you must survive my judgment, both for your sake and hers. What followed was nothing short of a trial by fire. For days, I underwent rigorous challenges designed to test my intellect, courage, empathy, and ability to adapt to alien environments. I navigated labyrinthine simulations, faced synthetic predators, and solved problems that twisted human logic. Throughout it all, Lyra remained a beacon, her support unwavering, her faith in me steady. On the final day, Queen Aerith observed silently as I faced the ultimate test, a simulated catastrophe threatening an entire Virilian city. I had mere minutes to assess, plan, and act. My human instincts clashed with alien engineering, and yet, through patience, reasoning, and courage, I managed to save the virtual population. Lyra's eyes glowed with relief, and even the Queen's expression softened. Just slightly. You have endured, Aerith finally said. You have proven resilience, intelligence, and respect for life. Perhaps you are worthy, not for the triviality of a title, but for the bond you and my daughter claim. That is the true test. I breathed a sigh of relief, but the weight of her words lingered. I had not been accepted lightly, and I knew that earning the Queen's trust had been only half the battle. Later, In private, Queen Aerith spoke to me quietly. Your bond with Lyra, it is unusual, but it is real. Treat her well, human. She has given you a trust few receive. Do not squander it. Lyra then approached me, her smile radiant. Mother has accepted us, she whispered. Not for my sake alone, but because she sees in you what I see. That night, beneath the twin moons of Aurelia, Lyra and I stood on a balcony overlooking the palace gardens. The air shimmered with bioluminescent flora, and the distant hum of the city echoed like a lullaby. She took my hand, her grip firm and warm. I called you husband, she said softly, because I knew it was true. Not because of ceremony, not because of obligation, because I felt it. I looked at her and felt the same certainty. Then I accept it, I said. Not as a visitor, not as a human alone, but as someone who belongs here with you. The planet seemed to exhale around us, as if acknowledging the bond that had formed. Queen Aerith had been wary, cautious, and demanding, but in the end, she had recognized the authenticity of our connection. And so, I remained on Aurelia, no longer merely a human explorer, but a partner to Princess Lyra. The Queen's initial fury had transformed into a grudging respect, and the palace buzzed with whispers of an unusual union, one that bridged species, cultures, and worlds. Years later, I would reflect on that first shocking moment, when Lyra had called me husband and the Queen had erupted in fury. What had seemed impossible, scandalous even, became the foundation of a new life, one that blended courage, love, and understanding across the stars. In the end, the alienqueen had not only tested me, she had shaped me. And the daughter who had dared to call me husband had changed the trajectory of my life forever. We lived, we explored, we learned, and above all, we discovered that love, in its truest form, knows no boundaries.